Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment today we are going to talk about DNA Technology Regulation Bill. Now this topic is important from the perspective of prelims as well as from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2 and 4. So let's begin with the topics of discussion step by step. First of all, we are going to talk about Y News, which will be followed by DNA Technology Regulation Bill. But before that, we will also know about what is DNA exactly, and also the records and report of the NCRB, the recent report. We will talk about that also. We will talk about what is the need of a centralized data bank or database of DNA of criminal offenders, as well as advantages of the bill, the disadvantages, and the way forward. In the midst of the segment, I will ask you a prelims-based question. Please comment the correct answer in the comment box. And at the end of the segment, I'm going to ask you a mains-based question which you can easily answer with the help of this segment, of course, if you follow attentively. So let's move and talk about Y News. Because emphasizing on the need of a nationwide DNA database of criminal offenders, experts from forensic science as well as the police through a webinar have said that a centralized data bank of DNA of criminal offenders will be proving to be monumental when it comes to thwarting crimes against women, and it will also keep away regular or repetitive criminal offenders off the street. Now, over 60 countries have made legal provisions available for the use of DNA technology in order to investigate criminal offenses, and these countries include Argentina, USA, China, Britain, and UK. So first, let's understand what is DNA exactly. Now, DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid is a complex hereditary molecule that is present in all human beings and almost all organisms, and it contains information which is needed to build and maintain an organism, and that is the biological information. Now, it might interest you that 99.9% of the DNA of all the human beings are similar, but some of the DNA is unique in nature, and that will cause an individual to be differentiated from another individual. So the molecular structure or the structure of a DNA was discovered in the year 1953 by two people by the name of James Watson and Francis Crick. Now, these two people, they discovered the molecular structure of DNA in the year 1953, and for that they won the Nobel Prize in the year 1962. And it was in the year 1984, it was only in the year 1984 when DNA technology was discovered by a British scientist, Sir Alec James Jeffrey. James Jeffrey. Now, he discovered the use of DNA technology for DNA profiling. So, if we talk about the Indian context, DNA as an evidence was first ever accepted by any Indian court was in the year 1984. But it was only in the year 2019, in the month of January, that a bill was introduced in the parliament and then it was passed. However, it was in the year 2016 when Andhra Pradesh became the first state ever to use DNA profiling to stop criminal offenses, right? And also, if we talk about the Law Commission's report of Law Commission of India's 271st report of 2018, they also drafted a bill with respect to DNA technology, and they also took into consideration various judgments, various pronouncements of the judiciary and other constitutional provisions, and saw that yes, indeed, data profiling or DNA technology can be used to curb crimes. Okay, but it also cited certain privacy concerns and ethical issues related to it. It also said, the 271st report also said that if the government gives a statutory status to such a technology, to such a bill, then there is a need that that particular bill should be used legitimately as well as per the constitutional provisions, right? So look at this. Can you see this picture and make out? Yes, there has been a significant jump in the crime rate, especially against women. So this is the NCRB report of 2019, which was recently published in the year 2020. And if you can please have a look at it, the rape cases in 2019 have jumped from 1086 to 1104. And also, as per the NCRB report, that there has been a jump in the crime rate, there has been an increase in the pendency of cases rate, but the conviction rate has not kept pace. Why is that? Because there is lack of conclusive proof. Because of lack of proof only, conviction is not as fast as possible. So that is the thing that we need to solve here, that we need to get evidentiary support which is conclusive in nature so that the judiciary can act as a fast court for delivering justice to the victim. Alright, so that is the reason we need a reliable technology. For that only, the DNA Technology Regulation Bill was introduced. It seeks to establish a nationwide data bank as well as regional DNA data banks. And also, it envisages that every data bank will be categorizing different DNAs, like the crime scene index is there, then comes the suspects or under trials index, the offenders index, and so on. This huge or humongous amount of data needs to be regulated as well. So the government in this bill introduced DNA Regulatory Board. So every laboratory, whenever it will do the analysis of the DNA in order to profile an individual, now that those particular laboratories will be regulated by DNA Regulatory Board, right? And these need to be accredited by the board also. Also, the bill proposes that a written consent is needed by individuals for obtaining their DNA, but a consent is not required for offences with punishments of more than 7 years in jail and of course the capital punishment. And it also provides for the removal of DNA profiles of suspects on the filing of application or to the police or by a court order or the filing of an application for the police. And profiles in the crime scene and missing persons index will be removed on a written request. So of course, the privacy of the individual is respected here in this particular bill. Now, if we talk about what is the need of the bill, the need of the bill, if you see from a broader perspective, is to maintain and strengthen a robust judiciary system. Because if people don't have faith in the judiciary system, what will happen? They will resort to extrajudicial means such as mob lynching or encounters by the police. It is very important for a citizen to have faith in the judiciary, and the judiciary can get that faith only by delivering accurate, effective and timely justice. For that, the judiciary needs conclusive proof, and that is why DNA Technology Regulation Bill has said that DNA technology is a reliable means for establishing a conclusive proof. So, the new bill aims to expand the application of DNA-based technology in order to strengthen the judicial delivery system, justice delivery system. That means the entire country should not be in any state of anarchy. Then, DNA analysis is an extremely and accurate technology, not just for investigating into the criminal offense, but also for establishing biological relationship between two individuals. Yes, for establishing parentage as well. Also, a hair sample, it's easily accessible. The DNA samples are easily accessible because a hair sample, even blood stains from clothes, saliva, nail scraping, fragment of tissue or muscle is needed just for establishing it as a DNA sample. So, these particular samples from a scene of crime can be matched with that of a suspect. This will result, it has most of the time, In fact, more than 95% of the time, it has been accepted as a conclusive proof that this particular person is a suspect, right? And this particular technology is being, for this particular reason, is being relied upon a lot because it is accurate, it is effective, and it can provide timely justice, right? Moving on, let's talk about the advantages of it. The biggest advantage is that individuals' privacy right in this particular bill is ensured because the custodian of the data bank will not release any sort of information other than a written requisite is made. And the one who is in the need of the entire DNA process, that is the investigators, they have to go through a requisition with the help of through the police. Of course, there has been a gatekeeper here as well. So data will be accepted from the investigators, which will be matched with that of the suspect in order to build any conclusive proof. Also, the DNA pattern will be kept by the DNA bank, and that will be used whenever it is required for keeping national security or a nation's integrity at the helm, or police interest, or even forensic interest. And DNA profiles will be kept under a government regulatory body with the help of certain terms of reference. That means its misuse is next to impossible. And also the government should ensure that its misuse can't be there, not only by the state, but also by the enemies of the state. We will talk about that later. Now let's talk about the disadvantages. First disadvantage is, many have claimed that DNA profiling is a violation of human rights, as it could of course compromise with the privacy of an individual, which is against the fundamental right to privacy. And you have to tell me in the comment segment in which year, or by what other name, not in which year, by what other name the right to privacy case is known. Alright, in the comment segment, please tell me. Okay, so this particular bill has been seen as a threat to the privacy of an individual. And the second problem is that it will be used not only for the settlement of criminal cases, but also in civil matters, right? Like using this particular bill in the matters of surrogacy, maternity, or paternity check as well, organ transplantation and immigration. Now, there has been this particular provision that it will be used for civil purposes as well. If we talk about immigration policy, then of course we can talk about the Citizenship Amendment Act here, right? Moving on, let's talk about the international human rights. Now, this particular declaration and the 1964 Helsinki Agreement are also being cited as a proof or as a reason to make a case against the DNA Technology Regulation Bill, because this particular declaration, which was approved by the United Nations General Assembly, they raised issues, or they raised their concern, they expressed their concern about an individual's right against involuntary maltreatment. And this particular Helsinki Agreement, it is based on the 18th World Medical Association General Assembly. And in this particular assembly, there are 32 guidelines, such as informed consent should be there. There should be a perspective about vulnerable population and the rest. So these two particular things are being cited as to make the case against this particular bill. And DNA profiles, they can reveal extremely sensitive information of an individual. Of course, if your particular your sensitive information is available to any person, that person can use that to exploit you and to provide you maltreatment. So this is also a big concern. I said that I will talk about the data to be provided to be falling into the hands of the enemy states of India. What if the data falls into the hand of China or Pakistan? It is very important for have a proper data protection bill in India right now, if we have to form a humongous database when it comes to DNA profiling, right? What is the way forward? First way forward is that DNA profiling, it should be undertaken exclusively for the identification of an individual and should not be used to extract any other information. And also, the state must show that there exists a legitimate reason, of course. Then only the people will have faith in the government, and then only they will give consent that easily. And for extracting DNA evidence, and the extent and the scope of such extraction should not infringe upon the fundamental rights of the individual. That should also be made sure. Also, to enact this law in its present form, if we talk about, it could only add a new menacing weapon, of course, because it can give a rise to the surveillance state. Our state can become a surveillance state if it has all the personal information about its citizens. Also, the government should not allow the benefits of science and technology to be privileged upon the fundamental rights of an individual. They should be kept at an equal footing, right? And maintenance of strict confidentiality with regard to this particular information should also be there, right? We talked about the data protection bill, right? That is the need of the hour. Also, now let's talk about a mains-based question which you can easily answer if you have followed this entire segment properly. Okay, so look at this question. Whenever a new law is brought or changes are made in the existing law, privacy and human rights should be a top priority. You have to discuss it in 250 words. So I hope you have found this segment informative and enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow we shall meet again. Please stay updated.